Dan Illman, Matt Burney are kicking off a big pick 4 at Santa Anita on Saturday afternoon with a prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Let's take a look at the field for race number 8. It's the Grade 1 Frontrunner Stakes. $300,000 is the purse at a mile and a 16th. And Matt, the number 4, Bolt d'Oro, is likely to go off favored in this race. 2 starts, 2 solid performances at Del Mar. 1 race on the pace. Last time out, he got bumped from both sides at the start. He had to sit off of the pace in a 4-wide trip, and he was still best.
He's very promising, isn't he? I mean, the fact that he's done all this and he had to overcome a little bit of adversity in that most recent start in the Futurity. Del Mar's not a problem if we're thinking Breeders' Cup time. The question is 2 turns, and I tell you what, you look at the way that he runs, the way that he galloped out, I don't think 2 turns is going to be any sort of an issue. The only problem is he's going to be a very, very short price.
Bimedallia d'Oro out of an AP Indy mare. No reason why distance won't be an issue. Love the gradual stretch out. 6.5 to 7, now to a mile and a 16th. And with 2 starts, enough experience, I think, to handle this. In all ways, he is really the horse to beat. The number 1 is Zatter for trainer Bob Baffert. I like this horse a little bit in the Del Mar Futurity against Bolt d'Oro. I thought he ran pretty well. He kind of got the jump on Bolt d'Oro on the turn. I thought that pace was really solid. Maybe moving into the teeth of that pace hurt Zatter a little bit. He fought very hard in the stretch to only lose by 3/4 of a length. He draws inside. He should show his natural speed. That's if he starts, because there have been some murmurs that maybe he'll wait for the Champagne next week.
And you know what? Wherever he runs, he's a major player.
Agreed.
If he runs here Saturday, if he runs in New York next Saturday, he's a major player. I think he's run really, really well in both starts. That career debut, he ran into another Baffert horse called St. Patrick's Day, American Pharoah's little brother. Basically put him away, and guess what? St. Patrick's Day came back to win next out. That most recent start in the Futurity, I love everything about it. I think distance is a little bit of a concern, but at the same time, mile and 16th, I don't think that should be an issue. Once you get to those longer distances down the road as a 3-year-old, sure, maybe you want to be a little bit concerned, but talent, it's there.
Here's the Timeform U.S. pace projector for the Grade 1 Frontrunner Stakes. If Zatter runs, he could be embroiled in a solid pace. That red bar from our friends at Timeform informs us they're expecting the pace to be fast. Zatter, Texas Wedge, the 8 Solomini could all be involved in the pace. If Zatter is out, maybe Texas Wedge will show some speed. You got to think he will, stretching out from 5.5 furlongs to a mile and a 16th. We have not seen him since July the 21st, and maybe it's sort of a trap to fall into this horse, simply that he debuted for a $50,000 tag, and now he's stepping up into a Grade 1 race, but he's got the best buyer speed figure of the field, and he just destroyed those horses.
I mean, visually, you can't ask for anything more from a debut starter. He showed big speed. And then they took him back, and he relaxed very kindly, sat off of horses, and then when Evan Roman got into him, he blew the doors off that field. Now he was in for a tag. It's going to be a different world here on Saturday, not just from a class standpoint, but look at it. He's going 5.5 to 8.5 off of a 2-month layoff. I'm not suggesting it's impossible, and he looks fantastic on the racetrack. It just, there's enough for me to be a little bit concerned about what are we really going to get.
Check for those late changes, though. If Zatter does get out, it might make things a little bit easier for Texas Wedge. Getting back to Zatter real quick, positive formulator fact for Bob Baffert, 27%, $3 ROI, with 2-year-olds stretching out in graded stake dirt races at Santa Anita. Solomini also stretches out. This is only start number 2 for Solomini. This horse was bet down to even money favoritism at Del Mar, sat off the pace really nicely, got it done, and being a son of Curlin, distance shouldn't be a problem. It looks like Baffert's got another good one.
Yeah, distance shouldn't be a problem. One of the rare Bafferts that didn't change leads, though. I think he's quite green. I think he needs to learn a little bit. Maybe this is going to be a little bit too much too soon, but I don't think, put it this way, I think he's one of the horses that even if he doesn't win Saturday, he's one you got to keep an eye on, because I think as the distances get longer, he's only going to improve.
Well, we know the number 7 Encumbered has no problem with 2 turns. He has tried it twice. He has won both times. The issue is both of those races have come on turf, but I don't think we can really fault his only dirt start. He was 22 to 1 in a stakes race first time out where he ran into Runaway, then the best 2-year-old in Southern California, and a horse that emerged from the Santa Anita Juvenile to win the Grade 2 Best Pal at Del Mar with a 75 buyer speed figure. I think a fast pace really works to this horse's favor. He's a really interesting runner at a price.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see what we get going back to the dirt if he handles it as well as he handled the turf. But I gave him a shot in that debut at $1 million to 1 because he'd been working with another horse for Callahan that ran really well the day before. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of a surprise package that we're going to get here. We know distance isn't going to be a problem. It's just a matter of, against this kind of company on dirt, can he step?
What about the 2, Calbred? Take the 101 showing speed.
Yep.
2 races on dirt. has been on the lead at the pace call both times. Really was not embarrassed in either one of those races. They tried turf, they tried distance last time out. They tried better horses in the Del Mar Juvenile Turf. No match for Encumbered, but that was a pretty solid pace, I thought, up front. Encumbered came with a run. The problem is if Take the One-on-One's hustled out of there, he's going to have to deal with Texas Wedge, might have to deal with Zatter, might have to deal with Solomini.
I wonder what you want to do with this horse in here because, again, his only win is coming gate-to-wire fashion, but I agree with you. There was enough pace signed on in there, and it felt like he made a bit of a middle move, and maybe that's why he flattened out. The problem is not only is he going to need to figure out something as far as trip is concerned, you're going to have to go even farther now to a mile and 16th. If you flattened out at the mile, unless you think he really moved into the teeth of the pace and you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to watch one and find out.
Another horse stretching out the 9 Continental Divide also has sort of that pedigree that indicates that longer will be better. He is by Animal Kingdom. This is a caliber to win the Graduation Stakes 2 starts back. Beaten favorite last time out in the I'm Smoking. What happened that day? Just didn't run.
Yeah, I don't have any excuse, and I suppose it's a positive that they're going to come right back here after a poor effort, but I thought that day he was the horse to beat, and clearly the public agreed, and he just didn't fire, he didn't run. I don't know what you want to do with him.
Runner-up that day did come back to improve Bayard, who was 74 when running second in the Barrett's Juvenile. Let's talk about a couple of horses that have already won at longer distances. The 5 City Plan, slow on speed figures, but I like the grit he showed last time out, winning at Los Al, just no match for Zatter at Del Mar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you got to, one, look at it from a speed figure standpoint. He's still very, very slow, but again, 2 turns, it's always a great equalizer in many of these races. He's going to need to up his game, though.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 1 Frontrunner Stakes. Let's talk about Ayakara, the number 3, and that time form U.S. pace predictor. You had to be very happy to see that red bar fast pace the way this horse ran last time out.
Yeah, this is a horse that in neither start has showed any sort of speed. He's going to come from way off the pace, but you just look at the way that he runs. It looks like he'd run a mile and a half if you gave it to him. If things heat up front, I think he's going to take advantage of it. I think Kent takes him back. They wait, they make that one run. If he's good enough or not, we'll find out. Again, from a buyer standpoint, he's light. From a time form standpoint, he's very, very light. There's something about having that 2-turn dirt experience under his belt already I really, really like, and I think he's going to get a good pace setup.
Very, very important. He seems like a professional kind of colt as well. You're going to go 3, 4, 1, and 6. Again, maybe I'm falling into the trap with Texas Wedge. You know, again, Maiden Claimer willing to lose him for 50, or maybe they were stealing. The way he ran, it looked like he was stealing. He just ran very hard all the way down to the wire and ran fast. I'm expecting, since Bolt d'Oro probably takes the lion's share of the money in here, that he'll be somewhat of a playable price. Bolt d'Oro to me is the horse to beat. I'm going 6, 4, 1, and 8 in the Grade 1 Frontrunner Stakes. Race number 8 at Santa Anita on Saturday has an approximate post of 4 o'clock Pacific. Good luck.